Hello, I'm Robert, a fact checker and science blogger. I'm just going to explain a very simple point about this false prophecy of 3 days of darkness in December on 21st. I already explained in another video that nothing can get between the Earth and the Sun. But some people are understanding it as meaning the Sun is going to set on winter solstice and it's not going to rise again for 3 days. That's impossible because it's a very simple basic point that when it's sunshine in the United States, it's midnight, middle of the day there, then it's going to be midnight in the Antipodes, which is somewhere around here. And all that part of the Earth is the same amount of sunlight apart from the polar regions, and so the North Pole is in constant darkness, the South Pole is in constant sunlight at this time of year. And then in between the two, and when it's dark in the United States, it's sunlight in the middle of the day in India. So if the sun could just set and never rise again in the United States, that would mean that the sun rises and never sets again in India. So you wouldn't have 3 days of darkness for the entire Earth, you'd have 3 days of darkness for the United States, 3 days of sunlight for India. But that's impossible, because the Earth is rotating once a day. Every 24 hours the Earth rotates. And in order for the sun to set and not rise again in the United States, the Earth would have to stop rotating. That can't happen. It's like a spinning bicycle wheel, but there's no friction, nothing to stop it. If you ever held a bicycle wheel, set it spinning, left it to go round, round, round like that, it doesn't suddenly stop by itself. It'll gradually slow down because of the friction. There's no friction with the Earth. And so it's been rotating. It does slow down very, very, very slowly over billions of years through the tides and the effect of the moon on terrestrial tides. And so as the tides go a little bit ahead, the Earth's gravity, because the Earth spins a little bit faster than the moon orbits, quite a bit faster, then it pulls the tides ahead of itself. And then those tides get dragged back by the moon, and then that slows the Earth's orbit, the Earth's rotation down very, very, very slowly. And that's not going to change. That'll change over billions of years. Billions of years from now, and the day will be a little bit longer, but it's never going to be 3 days, and well, not for a long time into the future. So I hope, and then way, way in the future, if eventually the Earth's day gets so long as 3 days, then it'll be 3 days of sunlight in whatever continent there is in the United States region, and 3 days of night in whatever continent there is the other side, and go very, very slowly like that. So that's over such long time scales, the United States will have gradually moved around and it'll be somewhere else by then, before the day is noticeably changed. So before it's noticeably longer, it's just moving in centimetres or so a year, but that's long enough so that by the time the day is noticeably longer, the United States will be somewhere else. All the continents eventually come together to form another big continent, and it splits up again, and it comes together again. That'll probably happen several times before the day is noticeably longer than it is today. So you're never going to have 3 days of darkness over the entire Earth, and far, far in the future, you might have a day that is so long that it's 3 days long, 3 days of our current days long. But when that happens, you will have every night. That'll be every day, not just some particular day. And every night will be 3 days long as well. And that'll be very far future. There'll never be a time when there's darkness over the entire world. That just can't happen. There's nothing astronomical can do that.